everyone, this is Greyshot 117 going over the Company of Heroes 2 patch notes. I'll be a wee bit late, but it's good that I finally get to it, and you know, it's not just pushed aside and I never get to it. So let's actually get to see what is happening. And actually, perfect enough, they've updated it as well, so we'll kind of go over that too. So all good, all part of the master plan of me being distracted and then coming back to it and then updating it. But you know, master plan, definitely that's what it is. But in any case, again, if you don't know, I go over patch notes, general feedback of my perspective, which is more of a 4v4 perspective. But as someone who casts tournaments, I have some 1v1 experience as well. So I may not be a player, but at least casting it, I know of what player tactics typically are for the most part. So we'll kind of go over that. So first, all MG teams. The following should address some of the issues MG teams are dealing with mass infantry when there's no cover available by having two members of the crew forward. Essentially, you have the guy, all the crew in the back. The guy gets shot off. Another guy comes in, shot off. Another guy comes up. This way, at least the focus fire is elsewhere. At least that distracts people, if that makes sense. So it seems here that again they'll be up the front. Also some nice just basic stuff like all AP abilities will be active, so you know when the MG's firing, which is good. And manual reload added as well, so that's good. All allied transport half tracks. Apparently they're making it so, let's see, encourage the usage of non-upgraded transport half tracks by acting as an alternative source of healing for players similar to the 251. So from what it says, you can now heal infantry in their hold when out of combat. So you put the infantry inside, they'll heal. Similar to the German half track, and that makes sense. Again, if you're going to keep it equal on both sides, then yeah, have that ability sounds pretty damn good. So awesome. At least that will be effective for healing infantry on the front, so you don't have to rely on, let's say, the USF retreating back to an ambulance or something like that. Snipers, real quick, I already kind of knew this ahead of time, but they're essentially decreasing the range for up until a certain veterancy, then they'll increase it. And by range, I mean sight range. So you'll see less, but the actual range is still fine. Cost is slightly decreased, which is only going to make snipers, I think, more common, but more common in a sense that they will be assisting other infantry, which is good. Also, no longer targeting vehicles, thank God, except for the British sniper. All of them are just pinging rounds like they're Godzilla in a Tokyo, and you're just like, yes, deploy the tanks. It's like, sir, we've deployed the tanks like 20 times. It does nothing. It's like, deploy the tanks. It's just bouncing shells left and right. It's like not doing anything. Nice attempt, though. I'm sure the 30th movie, which there has been, the tank will finally do something. No? Okay, never mind. Oh, only the American version. Oh, okay. Well, that's a piece of shit. Moving on, this is good because it helps rely on other units. And again, this isn't something like only with snipers. The ISU-152, the Elephant, to an extent, the Jagdtiger, unless they are beefed up by spotting scope, they typically need others to assist with sightlines to make their range the best they can be, like Fireflies, Jacksons, etc. The only thing I think of that has a native thing would be an S-285 or the Soviet sniper having the flare, but that would be Vet 1. Unless you had a mortar, then it could be going. But anyway, so that's good. I think that's good. This brings a tier, the plane crash. I'm just saying, you don't need to do this. But apparently plane crashes are now not deadly or as deadly. They reduce damage by 60%. AoE is from 1 to 0. I think plane crashes should be untouched. I know tournament plays, people specifically hate it because it changes games, and I've had literally moments where a plane crash killed a unit on stream in a tournament. But overall, I still think that most likely a plane, and from what I recall, usually if you deploy a plane and the enemy shoots it down, typically the plane will crash, except it will crash on yourself. Essentially, whoever deployed the plane will usually crash on their side, as usually it'll be turning, coming back. That's not entirely true, because I've seen Osteer shoot P-47 and crash into a Brumbar, I think. Point is, it adds that unexpectedness to a game, and I enjoyed it. I get why people don't. I might be in the minority in that, but I like plane crashes, even though, again, it's one of those things where it sucks when you're on the receiving end, but it's so fun to watch. That just random sheer luck coming in. So I enjoy that aspect. I don't think random luck should be in every component, but I do think it is a vital component in some regards, especially in that aspect. But hey, that's me. All mortar teams, essentially Smoke Barrage no longer shares a cooldown with the primary barrage. Good. Again, it's going to make the mortar more active and also drop smoke to get through MGs. So that's perfect. Especially if you're making MGs a little more competent. You need something to counter it. That's good. Formation changes. Essentially, how the squad normally moves is going to be essentially how it attacks others. So essentially, changes to better distribute fire among their squad members in the current V formation. Certain squads quickly lose a member when they enter combat. Some squads all have been adjusted so their supports and slot weapons are placed in the front of the squad to increase responsiveness. This might help pick off units that are weaker, essentially if you're increasing effectiveness in an attack. Otherwise, it'll be curious to see how, with pathfinding it works, essentially in terms of terrain. Would this help with getting the terrain or moving over negative terrain, or would this help? Like, how does changing the squad impact the squad survivability? That's my question. I probably on that, I'm assuming Tightrope is a guy who does these, except he goes way more detailed than I could, or have time for. I'll leave the link down below if he on his updates, because he's probably gone into a further discussion on this. So there's that. Trenches. The following change will make trenches easier to siege with non-direct fire weapons and give players an option to destroy them during combat. Target size has been increased. Good. I've seen trench spam, which is a thing where people just make mass trenches because they know the enemy can't destroy them quickly. This helps alleviate that, so that's good. Infantry-based flamethrowers. Essentially, you can demolish buildings quicker. You go from 30 bursts to 15. That's still a long time, but at least you can burn the thing down a lot quicker. So I'm up for that. That's fine. And again, if you're using a flamethrower in a building, like, basic synopsis would be, hey, I have a flamethrower. I'm hanging the side of a building. Why isn't this thing catching fire? Like, that's sort of basic, like okay, what's going on here? So yeah, I approve of that. Again, I feel like most of these things I'm going to agree with, but let's continue. Sherman, essentially, we're just going to make everything standardized, right? Sherman, all MGs amongst the family. Makes sense. There's a Sherman, you have the 76mm Sherman, you have the Easy 8, you have all these different types that they could change different amounts or bonuses. So the fact they're standardizing it across the board, I think is a good time. I think it's fine because that way you don't have a weird outlier. The Panther, my apologies. Given the Panther's lackluster veterancy 2 bonuses and the unit's lackluster. Okay. And the unit's reliance on, this is for the, this is OKW and Osteer. I thought veterancy 2 was side armor. Okay. Wait, yeah, isn't it Vet 1? Maybe the OKW it already has that, but veterancy 2 is side armor, I thought. But anyway, and the unit's reliance on accurate shots over rate of fire. We're improving the accuracy of the Panthers that have gained veterancy. Okay, you're going to play a Panther. It's not going to be great until, again, you rank it up. So, great. I don't see that. Is it too big of an issue? Essentially just making sure the Panther can go toe-to-toe and make sure it hits those shots, because it needs to. Sandbags. Okay, this is something I've seen in a lot of tournament plays where a player will go to a certain position and they'll just start building it. So in this, the sandbag build time increased from 12 to 18 seconds with all the squads it can do initially. Makes sense. Risk reward. Do you want the cover, or do you want to capture the point and get to the next one as fast as possible? What do you want to do? This allows for essentially that risk reward scenario, and that's better in my opinion. Having an option to where the player literally has to choose, even subtly, on this situation, I think makes it better. Now, again, while certain strategies might be reduced, others come to the forefront. This has always happened in Code 2 when you make any changes. So with this, does that make the tank trap more viable? And if so, like for Reshelon, does that make Reshelon now the go-to of placing cover everywhere? Where in an allied game, we're going to see them try to pick America because they want that cover. Is that going to be a serious enough impact? And again, it might be 6 seconds, but to a tournament player, that can mean a lot. So I am curious on that because I know so many different competitive players will do that thing. So again, always curious to see. Anyway, let's see. All clip-based units and armored cars. Quality of life feature added to give players more input on these units. Manual reload added. Okay, so I guess that's good. You could reload. Fantastic. I don't really have much to say on that. All light vehicles and tanks wrecks. All light tank wrecks will be crushable by other light vehicles. Great. That seems reasonable. Although, I'm actually fine with them originally not being able to, because they're technically hiding in smoke. So a lot of times people will do that so that way they don't get spotted. And also, if they shoot at them, the target that died will take the shot. So something to keep in mind. Like, oh, everyone's like, oh, I can drive through it. And then you drive through it and you're like, ah, shoot, there goes my cover and my camouflage. Hold fire will now disable all weapons on the vehicle. Thank God, because the fact you would have a Panther force, like trying to be like, okay, they have P-47s in the air. They have the British air support. Don't make a sound. And you just have these MG crews firing into the sky. And it's like, oh, cool, there's a target. All rockets fire at will. It became annoying as hell. So the fact that not only, of course, for the OKW, but for the Allies and all the Osteer, you can be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna shut that off. I prefer that. Call in infantry in high resource games. I don't play high resource games. That's an option in custom games you can do, but apparently all 0 CP call in infantry cannot be deployed immediately in high resource games. Good. It doesn't affect me. It's not competitive. But hey, if people enjoy it, great. They can call in their stuff quicker and enjoy. HQ/bunker medics. The following changes should relieve some of the issues when there are too many models in the base where the path blocks the medics. Yes, this is a problem where there's so much stuff the medics have a hard time. They're increasing the healing aura. It looks like 7.5% infantry models health per second in an area of 5. Makes sense. Good. I'm glad. AA units, quality of life change to allow AA to focus on downing or even if enemies are nearby. Thank God as well, because except for the OKW, and I think some additional bonus with some other units, most of the time aircraft will not be shot at, and instead they'll shoot out random stuff, and there's no way to get it actually to fire at the sky. So this, I think, is just a good option where they just focus aircraft. That's nice, because there's sometimes where there's like a giant air force above you, and you're like, shoot the plane, and it's shooting an infantry unit. It's like, there's one rifleman. Can we please focus on the P-47s above? Focusing on P-47s a lot, I'm realizing. Forward assembly/glider essentially will disappear in the fog of war after having been spotted, unlike other structures. Yeah, I guess that's a thing, because the OKW pops up, so artillery can focus on them. That's actually one of the big counterpoints of building a forward base so like, not forward base, but Panzer headquarters or something close to the front, because the enemy can easily see it and then target it. So yeah, that makes sense. Now appearing makes it even with everything else. Medical crates. Certain access team weapons like the ISG could not pick up medical crates. Now weapon crews will be able to pick them up. Great. Again, simple fix. Apparently there's more quality of life changes coming. Okay, USF ambulance. The following change will make ambulance take slightly longer to be destroyed when in the base sector from both directed and indirect attack. Great. The fact that we have armor just rush in, kill it, and run, that helps. The M-bar will have a smaller drop rate. Good. I like, not trying to add much here. I'm just saying that in general, that's fine. Great. The fact that, like, again, because the enemy will pick up your bar, it's annoying, so the fact that's good. Not really much to say there. Rear echelon reinforced from 25-23, but increasing the veterancy requirements. Okay, makes a bit more sense. And besides, even with the rear echelon, what you're going to equip it with, most likely either bazooka or the rifle grenades. They're going to rank up pretty quickly if you use them effectively nonetheless. Riflemen, we are adjusting riflemen, giving them direct access to AT, thank God, when the USF players purchase the correct tech. This will allow the fresh riflemen to be able to snare. So essentially you have to upgrade, what is it, mechanized platoon command post or mechanized company command post, or both officers deployed. Okay, as long as it's something. And again, that will also kind of go with the Osteer or the OKW, where you need to do a certain unlock path in order to get special abilities upgraded and unlocked. So makes sense, understandable. Again, not really much to say there other than AT. Again, they removed the AT grenades, but they also veteran 3 ability for 50% recharge bonus now is moved to 1, which makes me curious. Are they just not like what is the veteran 3 ability now? Anyway, the M1 81mm is now we're slightly adjusting scatter of it to match the accuracy of other mortars and be more accurate than its auto fire. Oh, okay. Sure. Why not? The American mortar's already, in my opinion, pretty, like, it doesn't have specials, but it's just annoying. So the fact they're making it better, great, wonderful. Anyway, that one I'm curious about. Because not many people bring up the American mortar because it doesn't have specials like the flare and such, or the auto fire or auto target. or counter barrage, I should say. But yeah, if you're increasing it, we'll see. It's a mortar, so theoretically its viability in certain games is hitting a certain curtain once mechanized artillery comes out, or mobile artillery. But yeah, we'll see. I think that's a concern in my book. I think that's like the one concern I'm like, okay, we'll see. Anyway, the M2H50 Cow has been just to take longer to set up. This means it's easier to outmaneuver and easier to punish when it's caught in the open. Ready aim time has been adjusted to be more consistent. Units now be harder to death loop as models remain in the weapon, respond more quickly. Again, death loop is kill a model, new guy. Kill a model, no guy before it can fire, or suppressed. The retreat speed bonus it has to other units has been removed with the adjustment of the attach. Okay, so wow, they've nerfed it quite a bit. It seems like they're nerfing MGs in general and increasing smoke, which is good. I don't mind that because I don't like MG spammers, but we'll see how effective that is and how quickly it turns smoke into where you're literally seeing. And again, that does change things. So then you're going to be starting to see more mortars out a lot quicker than MG, because I think the MG is more viable, or more prevalent, I should say. Definitely more prevalent than an early mortar. But now you're making it more likely that a mortar could be better. Again, we'll see what the competitive players do and what team games happens, but just something to think about. The M20 is having a build time reduced, so you can arrive sooner onto the battlefield. Yeah, it doesn't exactly do much in the first place, so quicker is fine. Furthermore, its armored skirts are being reduced in price to better match their performance. Yeah, the armored skirts are way too costly. I don't know why they were 70. But yeah, good. I'm glad that you're getting it out quicker, because by God, that thing needs something, because it doesn't. Yeah, like, unless you get a good mine off. You already took. I think they took away the bazooka team inside, so it's like, okay, let's try to help it out. The Stewart point blank engine shot is being adjusted to make the ability more responsive and usable against mobile vehicles. Thank God, because while it's a great ability, I will usually just go shell shock because it's easier to use. So they're reducing the costs, they're increasing the range. The shots now slows vehicles by 50%, rotation by 25% for 6 seconds rather than causing the engine damage. Okay, so it's not a permanent damage, it's just, or not permanent, but like engine damage, you're just buttoning it essentially. So Stewart now doesn't cancel movement commands when given target ability orders. Experimental. Thank God, because yeah, it's hard to tell it to do something because it will stop what it's doing. So that's good. The Pack Howitzer's AoE has been adjusted to have a harsher damage drop off to reduce its potency. Alright, so it's less damage. Yeah, that thing is very powerful. Again, I'm curious to see how the support gun handles, though, and if they do something like that, because again, you're decreasing the howitzer, so my thought process would be you decrease the support gun as well. So it looks like then support guns and howitzers are decreased, but mortars are increased. Okay. The following change was done to match other aerial recon abilities for the Major. No longer is locked in place when using aerial recon. That's nice. Can now direct which angle the plane is coming in. I know people would argue with me you can't control it, and I'd be like, yes, you can. You just tell it the direction. You click on it, it goes in that direction. Now, it will veer off slightly to left or right, but generally you can aim it. So that's good. I'm glad that they are kind of fixing that into more directional. The following changes to the M8 Scott will make it slightly less potent as an auto-fire unit, forcing it to and then he has space there, to get closer to the battlefield. Its barrage capabilities are being adjusted with increased accuracy and better splash capabilities at the cost of its one-hit kill radius against infantry. This should allow the M8 to function in the artillery role. So they're decreasing the auto-fire range, which is nice because that thing is a beast if it's just constantly battering your enemy. But their barrage angle scatter and stuff like that have been changed as well. They're decreasing the barrage. Okay. To an extent, and increasing in some others. Okay. Interesting. Barrage shells now use mortar explosion damage effect to distinguish them from auto-fire rounds. That's nice to have a slightly variation. The human crush removed. Oh, okay. Veteran C2 scatter bonus now applies barrage instead of the unit's auto-fire. I mean, that will force people to actually click and use it. The Jackson, veteran C2 penetration from 30% to 20%. With the reduction of armor, certain accidents, along with the M36 receiving improved penetration. The unit no longer needs high veterancy bonuses. Okay, so yeah, it looks like they're like, okay, we may have push the Panther down a bit too much. Let's decrease the Jackson. Okay, we'll see how much that affects. Because my thought process is, yeah, the penetration, you're decreasing it now. To be fair, it's veterancy, but still, you're decreasing it now, and you're still going to be fighting like a Yag Tiger and such. So we'll see how that goes. If again, the unexpected consequences. Sure, the Panther is fine, but what about the heavier stuff? The MC51, oh boy, I knew this one was going to be hit. Yeah, is receiving adjustments to make it easier to fight early game by being forced to expose itself to enemy infantry while still capable of providing fire support with veterancy. Step on also getting munitions, okay, so you requires 15 munitions now. The range has been decreased, and the Vet 1 now increased range by 5. Okay, so it'll get some of its range back at veterancy 1. Okay, that's fine. Again, my catch is, the problem with this unit, I mean, Step on it is really effective, and the fact you now activate a munition, like actually you just spend stuff makes sense, because again, the scout car for the Soviets requires it. My counterpoint is the biggest issue with this unit, at least to me, isn't the fact that, and how do I put this in the best way possible? It's not the fact that the MG has some great range or something like that. Although, to be fair, it will force people to actually like having to be a little closer to the enemy, so that could increase more Panzerfaust. But the one thing I'll also bring up about it is it's the fact that you can get cavalry riflemen in them, or another rifleman or something, and just mow down people. So I feel like they're making the enemy infantry get closer, but if you're gonna have cavalry, they're gonna be on top of them anyway. So yeah, curiouser on that one. I don't think it's going to stop the WC from being effective early game. I think it's still going to be fine, but we'll see. Calliope, a general passive rocket artillery. The Calliope is receiving the Calliope is receiving a rechargeable cooldown. Any other changes will come in the next major update focusing on commanders. Veterancy 1 to 10 second ability recharge removed. Huh. Interesting. Alright, Osteer. So now we're on a new faction, everyone. We're on the Osteer now. It's weird to start with America and then now we're on Osteer, but okay. I would have, Soviet, Osteer, go that. No? Okay. Infantry Company. The cost of the infantry company is being removed and placed into the battle phase 1. This will slow the rush to light vehicles before there is a response without impacting. Yeah. Here's, again, unintended consequence. So, the WC, you make him closer, but you still make it capable. But now you're delaying, what's it called? You're delaying the scout car and the half track. Curious. That's all I'm going to say. Just curious if that will actually affect the more viability with light vehicles, because if the 222 is going to be delayed, then you're going to see other light vehicles be a little more prominent. It could be a minute, but that minute can mean a lot of time that you could possibly be overwhelmed. So, again, something to think about. Pioneers are having their veterancy requirements be slightly adjusted to mediocre combat potential. Really? Pioneers have mediocre combat potential? I mean, I get it. They're not strong, but if you get them close range, they'll fight riflemen just fine. But again, it's close range or nothing. Received accuracy is also replacing an accuracy bonus at the unit. Is not meant to be an offensive without support. Veterancy +3 accuracy bonus replaced with minus 23% received accuracy. Veterancy requirements have also decreased. Okay, again, you have to have something else focus the rifleman's fire, but if they do get close or surprise riflemen, pioneers, they can do something. Grenadiers are having their formation changed to make it difficult to focus on a single model, giving them a 4-man squad size, which should make them less vulnerable when attacked or caught in the open without impacting their performance and defending from cover. Yeah, having 4-man squads, you lose a model, it's a lot more impactful than the Soviets. Formation changes Tommy's mentioned above. The veteran squad leader upgrade is being adjusted to make the upgrade less potent. Okay, that makes sense because, by God, yeah, that upgrade was typical. Like, I asked people, like, it's one model and with a G43, is it that impactful? And people are like, it's way better than just getting G43 rifles. I'm like, okay, But now it looks like with that, it might make the G43 rifles more viable in terms of competitive play, which would stop the German infantry doctrine from popping up in every competitive game, which is, again, good. I think this will change things up. The following change was implemented to make it more difficult to wipe an infantry. Oh, wait, so we already went through this. Oh, wait, no, wait, hold on, maybe not. Make it more difficult to wipe out an infantry squad through double shotting. In return, the ability win now reliable stun. English. Even I'm like, what? The ability will, I'm assuming they say, will now reliably stun the targeted squad even if models are spaced out. So the shot cost is decreased for the incendiary. Aim time is increased, and it will now stun enemies, which is good. Because I've seen it fire, and I'm like, did it fire? Did it not? So that's good. And I'm assuming, again, the other base change what happened to the sniper. Panzergrenadier. Panzergrenadiers are having their grenade range exchanged for recharge due to the lethality of the bundle grenade. So Baron C3 grenade range bonus changed from minus 25% recharge on a bundle and smoke grenade. Okay. I mean, it is pretty damn powerful, so that makes sense. Osteer are being adjusted to arrive onto the battlefield slower than they did previously. Oh god, I wonder why. This change is combined, again, the last tournament, it was military trucks and Osteer. That's pretty much what was on the battlefield for a lot of the 1v1 games, especially for the, oh god, Chaos Krieg. Osteer are also receiving a boost to any weapon they pick up when they are fighting from cover, which will improve their late game fighting potential. Yeah, you bet. You pick up a bar and the Osteer are like, we can fight, we can win. Anyway, ability recharge from 25 to 35. Good, because again, I feel like that was a concern of them just deploying in mass very quickly and overwhelming the enemy. The fact that they now arrive slower rate, but actually will give a risk reward. Oh, should I go with this? Should I not? I think it's better. Brumbar Bunker Buster Barrage. Munition cost set to 30. I mean, yeah, okay. It's just adjusting it to better reflect. That makes sense. Panzerwerfer. General Rocket Artillery is seeing veteran C recharge nerfs as they previously could reload too quickly, particularly in large game modes. Yeah, no shit. The Panzerwerfer itself, and this is all artillery, not the Panzerwerfer, is having its counter barrage ability removed and being given a low angle barrage. Okay, will allow it to get its rockets on target faster individual. Wait. So you're giving the Panzerwerfer like, hey, you know what? The Panzerwerfer wasn't wiping squads fast enough. Let's help it. Sure, I mean, the Panzerwerfer was notorious for just knocking squads out, so this could be horrifying. If I'm in a team game, great, you just decrease its rate of fire, but hold on. Yeah, recharge bonus from 40 to 20. You may have made it shoot a little slower, but you're essentially making it so that way it will kill enemies pretty quickly if this low angle barrage is what it's saying it is. Again, it's 30 munitions though, but again, I would pay 30 munitions to wipe 5 squads if I could. Fires 10 rockets to the target area at low angle with a 0.25% cooldown between each rocket. Oh, so it's not all at once. Well, again, I'll have to see it in action. S minefields. But Panzerwerfer, we'll see how that low and go barrage works. Because again, I feel like having something fire faster with the Panzerwerfer could be bad. S minefield are receiving suppression to lessen their ability to wipe out squads, accidentally step into the larger minefields very quickly without warning. Squads will still need to step on 2 or 3 mine patches to be suppressed. Suppression will eventually slow down a squad and give the player slightly more time to react before squad loss. Okay, fine. Again, I don't really see much. I do lose squads to it, and I know quite a few people do, so that will help. All right, now switching over to the Soviets. Oh god, we're halfway there, I think. I think we're halfway through this, and it's been roughly 25-30 minutes. My god. Soviet combat engineers received accuracy replacing weapon accuracy bonus at Veteran C3. This will make late game combat engineers more survivable. Yeah, that helps. So increase accuracy instead of received accuracy. Sure, you're making them more combat effective by making sure they die quicker. That I don't think they would like that, but okay. Scout Car is having armor exchanged for health, giving it more survivability against light cannons and mines, while having minimal impact against small arms. The scaling of the M3 is also being improved by allowing it to gain veterancy faster and capturing territory, rewarding unit preservation into the mid-late game. Are you telling me my M3 could actually... Oh my god. It can now capture territory of veterancy 2, now gain shared veterancy? You're making a Kubel for the Soviets that you can step into and has more health. Sure, it has less armor, but goddamn, all right, I'll take it. We'll see the armor impact of that unit, but again, I'm kind of curious now. All right, Maxim. The following changes will help alleviate the death loop issues with Maxim by reducing the time it takes for the new gunner to respawn. All right. Okay. To orders / acts. Sustained fires also losing its veterancy requirement to give early Maxims an on-demand suppression boost. Yeah, that helps. Again, Maxims are notorious for... Oh, I'm being shot at? Let me just walk on through it, like it's outskirts and it won't be suppressed, so that helps. So attach time is decreased, retreat speed is decreased, that's okay. And suppressing fire ability now available without veterancy. The 50% reload bonus ability has been moved to veterancy 1. Okay. The Zis Barrage is having its reload time increased to give the team weapons more time to react when being barraged. Okay. So you're just making so that in between shots of it firing, it's like another second. That's fine. It is a very powerful ability for anti-infantry, so I'll give that. Special Rifle Command is having build time decrease to allow its expensive units to arrive on the battlefield slightly sooner to make up the tier's lack of map control. You're really appealing to me, patch notes. You're really appealing to my playstyle, and I truly appreciate it. Now let's see what you do with the penals. The penals are receiving a slight adjustment to the reinforce faster and having their veterancy modified to have increased survivability. Is everyone just gonna go my playstyle? Because I really like Special Rifle. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. Maybe this will make it more viable, but slightly less offensive power. Hold on. They should increase their survivability in late game, reducing their high manpower bleed. All right, that's nice. The accuracy bonus is decreased slightly, but they are doing received accuracy increase, and the reinforced time has been decreased. Okay, I'm fine with this. I'm fine. This sounds good. The half track is having its A chance lowered. Previously, it could bring down... Yes, okay. They are going into the heart of many issues. Okay, the M5 half track, for whatever reason, I don't know why, compared to the AA, to the Americans, to the British, to the Germans, this thing would shoot planes down instantly. And I think they just didn't time it with how it shoots, because that's bullets. Most of them others like a slower autocannon of sorts, or flak. But yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely makes sense them doing this, and yeah, chance goes down per shot. Perfect. So makes sense. It makes sense. It sucks for a Soviet player if you really enjoy that, but it makes perfect sense. SU-76 is having its veterancy 1 ability changed to be distinctly different from the veteran abilities in both the ZIS-3 and the SU-85. The fire cone is increased. The veterancy 1 tracking changed to tank camouflage. So great, you just made the SU-76 invisible. Similar to SA tank hunter camouflage from the tank hunter commander. Camouflage rotation penalty from 75% to 50%. Wait, I'm very confused. So instead... change it to be distinctly different from the veteran abilities of both the ZIS-3 and the SU-85. Okay. But you give it abilities that the ZIS gun and SU-85 can get from commanders. Okay. Interesting. They get it, but interesting. All right. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I just imagined a bunch of SU-76 popping out of nowhere and killing tigers, which would be hilarious. Or doing mass artillery barrage. My God. Anyway, T-70s I'm having flashbacks of advanced powers while reading this. My God. T-70 is having some of its potential slightly lowered, particularly in AI role. What? Recon mode has been adjusted to have a delay before a manned gun activates, reducing its effectiveness when caught out of position. Alright, makes sense. Reload is increased, AoE capped at 3 models per squad, and recon mode forces a reload cycle unit upon being disabled. Oh, Makes sense. Not too much of a penalty. It's just they want to make sure people aren't like, okay, we're sneaking upon them, and immediately turns on blast mode and just fires out the main cannon. It's like, what? Yeah, it makes sense. The T-34 76 and the RAM of the 85. Let's see. The T-34 76 having its RAM ability gated by invariance. You want to make fresh T-34s able to disable vehicles without spending some accumulated advantage due to their low cost. Okay, this will make it so that way the T-34, a slight change, but they'll probably will see a T-34 ram only when in friendly territory. Because what people will do is they'll ram outside of an enemy territory and then call it an airstrike. This will now force people to rank up, because instead of calling on T-34 and just, you know, hitting a Panther and killing it with an airstrike, you now have to work your way up. Random crits applied to target removed, such as main gun, engine destroyed, and mobilization removed. But it will increase penetration. You figured the penetration would increase because it's a ram ability, but okay. It's like a big tank smashing into another tank. Sorry, you penned off the armor. What? Katusha, the cost of Creeping Garage is being slightly reduced to better reflect its performance, even with the bug flicks applied. The recharge bonus of Adversity 2 has been reduced to general pass all rock artillery. So hopefully this means all rock artillery will fire like crazy. But I haven't really known many people to use Creeping Barrage, so maybe this makes it more viable. I just know Creeping Barrage is something that a lot of people, at least I've seen, not really use. But anyway, SU-85 with reduction of armor on certain, again, that's also the penetration decrease you saw in Jackson's. Alright, ISU-152, what are you doing to this thing? It's having its HE range shortened, so kind of like the sniper IS? No, it's different. No, because this is actually its range, not its sight. Forcing it to expose itself when engaging soft targets. Previously, the ISU-152 could stay back behind ET assets when using these potent AI rounds. Concentrating piercing rounds have been changed to now always penetrate their target and having a cost reduced. That's cool. So yeah, if you have it always set to pen, then you're probably going to see more. Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more aggressive ISU-152 plays, because then it could fire, and you could see situations, yeah, where it's just if you know you can pen, this opens the door for the ISU-152 in a huge way that people are going to be jumping towards. At least in my opinion. Yeah, you give an automatic pen, people are like, what? Also, you're decreasing its cost, making it more likely. Rear armor has been decreased. And HE rounds from the 76. Cat almost stepped on the power cord. Like, no, Cat, not now. Anyway, HE round range has been decreased. Or HE round. Okay, but yeah, it has to get a little bit closer to her infantry. So I'm assuming that makes AT guns a little more viable against it, which helps. Because you versus this thing and with what it has now, and yeah, you're gonna have a rough time even with AT guns. So that could be helpful. That could be really helpful in that way. Anyway, now we're on the British. So the Brits, AEC and Bofors tech will no longer be mutually what? The resource costs needed for each already act as a gate for the other being purchased. And given the AC already being the prime choice due to its mobility, there's no reason to further punish choice of Bofors. You're going to see a lot of fortification spam now. Oh my god. Alright, yes. Having the AC be in tournament play more viable, yes. But that doesn't mean, how do I put this nicely? That does not mean the Bofors is not something that people are like, oh, I'm going to I'll put my nose to. It's like the Bofors is really good, especially in territory that's farther away from the main enemy forces that they can't send a lot to. In case anyone's wondering what I'm talking about, like situations like steppes or situations where you have certain angles, so city maps, urban maps like Ungermute, stuff like that, especially where you have a lot of cover. Bofors and fortifications can be tough, and even though they've been nerfed quite a bit, the Bofors is still very strong early game. So, okay, cool. I can see a lot of people getting both for fortifications and a mobility aspect. But AEC is seeing a build time increase. Again, push it back. So that way you don't have to worry about the 222 being... how do I put this? You don't have to worry about the 222 in some light vehicles, and same thing for the Brits. So right now I think the Soviet light vehicle and the WC are probably going to be the big issues. Possibly in the near future, we'll see. Anyway, sight has been decreased as well. Veterans do return sight to normal. Okay. Infantry section are having capture bonus from... Wait, their capture bonus removed to reduce British early game map control. I'd even notice that. I'm going to be honest. I never thought that they were... I mean, yeah, usually it's the MG or something you bring up, but... Okay. UKF Medic Squad. Due to the buggy nature of the squad's automatic healing has been replaced. Thank the Lord. So, yeah, because you just have to activate in and it will shut off and then turn back on. I'll give it to Royal Engineers in a second. Replaced with ambulance-like AoE healing ability that locks squad in place. Okay, thank you. Just, that's fine. That's a major fix in my eyes. Royal Engineers are having their speed debuff from the Heavy Engineer upgrade removed as preventing them from zoning out and punishing vehicles with their HET. Yeah, you're making them slow as hell when they can't throw AT grenades at a moving vehicle. Makes sense. So, alright. Heavy Engineers will no longer be slow. Ford Assembly, what are you doing here? Is seeing a reduction in its build time to present itself as an option as both reinforcement and a healing base. No, what you need to do is make it so it's viable with having specials. And that would make it. Putting it near the other artillery and bringing that thing back is what you need to do. But build time is fine. You're just not going to see it as prevalent because it's very costly for the British in order to build everything you want. And then even if you, let's say you build the Ford Assembly, it's like, great. Unless you get an option or ability, unlike the ambulance, it can't be moved. And yeah, sure, the OKW have that aspect where they can't move their medical facility. But it's kind of it's kind of that thing where the OKW is not as expensive. Well, no, it's 200, 300, so it's more expensive in the manpower department. But I feel like manpower for the OKW is not as big or critical as an issue it is for the Brits. The Brits, I always feel the manpower is sorely lacking, just so costly for everything. So I'm iffy on that. Again, I think the Ford Assembly should have its area ability for fortifications back, but that's me. Valentine must be built from the HQ as a delay mechanism. Previously, it could just arrive too quickly for the amount of damage it could cause. Yeah, that makes sense. And it needs to be built in HQ after being unlocked at 5 CP, 50-second build time. So yeah, this will clearly delay it and delay the light armor stuff. But if you're delaying all this, and again, I did not see it, but they didn't change the steward. So I'm curious if like some of the tournament players like figure out how quickly you can deploy a unit and be like, I think it's more viable to go with a steward or more viable to go with the T7. Well, no, a lot of people don't like Sylvia, but I mean, the T70 could now be an option, which is good because I feel like a lot of people will go with certain doctrines to deploy it. So this could again help with some other factions and some other vehicles. We'll see. Churchill's being a revision of its population increase due to the British generally having a higher than usual population. Furthermore, improvements to its main gun, addition of a tank commander, again, don't know why it wasn't there, and Anvil a better option. Even though I like Anvil more than the other one, I thought the Churchill was way better than a Comet, but they did boost the Comet a little bit recently, so decrease in population helps a little bit. Reload, okay. The reload change looks interesting. And tank commander upgrade added, again, just nice. So good options there. Because again, I like the Churchill, so yay. Centaur is seeing, maybe this is why I'm not a 1v1 player, I'm not using all the main strats. Centaur is increased in mobility and speed. What? Previously it was too slow, making it difficult with its average survivability. No, I don't think that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong. But usually I just didn't see the Centaur because you boosted the Cromwell to make it actually very good infantry, to be a very good infantry killer. So I don't see, so the Centaur became a secondary thing. It's like, yeah, people can use it, and it's still very potent. But okay, sure, you're just gonna see, I'll tell you right now, the Centaur's not gonna be running, it's gonna be away, it's gonna be chasing infantry. That's what you just allowed it to. You just chase the infantry a lot better. Firefly is having a turn rotation improved. The current turn rotation speed makes it track slower than most casemate tank destroyers. Okay, don't know what that is. The unit speed with the veterancy is also being improved. These changes should make the unit feel more responsive. Okay, better see now increases the speed boost, a better traverse speed to rotate it, and also you have the turn to reverse speed decrease. Okay. Again, just making it better. That's fine. I can see why people would want that, because again, it's always the Firefly's just a second off from actually killing something, so I can see. The comment is having its fuel increased to better reflect its current performance. Yeah, it's performing very well after the last buff. The WP ready aim times being increased to activate too quickly. Yeah, so I was waiting for that. So it's like, yeah, we're boosting the Churchill. What about the comet? We're not going to talk about the comet. You're not touching the comet, right? Eh. Alright, I just saw the next one, and hold on, I did double take. Mortar emplacement. The mortar emplacement is receiving a number of changes to make it more usable. Oh god. More usable? What? All you do is put the forward assembly thing and it makes it more usable, but by god, what are you doing? By granting only one mortar to the player. Alright. The UKF player does not need to expand a large amount of resources to get access to the basic indirect fire. The addition of the mortar barrage gives them placement a long-range, late-game artillery unit in the core. Now, okay, so cost is decreased. The second mortar can be activated by upgrading the placement for 100 manpower at 20 research. Okay. Can now fire a heavy mortar barrage up to range 180 once hammer or anvil has been unlocked. Heavy barrage fires a total of 8. What the hell is this going to look like? Heavy barrage fires a total of 8 rounds into target area with 120-second recharge. I hate to break it to you, the mortar pit is not something that people don't use. People use it quite a bit. You're making it cheaper. You're making it more powerful. Yeah. Yeah, that's a curious one. I'll be honest, that's a hell of a change, and I'm not someone that's gonna say that's overpowered, but I'm thinking that you're gonna see a lot more Brit players just go mortar pit, because that's fantastic. That's awesome. Yeah, having a heavy mortar barrage, 100, a range of 180. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not. I'm thinking that's way too. The 180 range is not like that big in hindsight, but I'm thinking they're gonna be changing this. I'm curious. Okay, so the OKW, we're going into them now. Battle Group Headquarters is receiving a change to make healing more accessible. What? You don't like all the artillery fire coming in? Well, too bad. We're gonna mess with it. Make the fuel cost more. Okay, medics will now be available at the start. Alright, that's a huge thing. Well, forward reinforcement must be upgraded. So it automatically gonna have medics now. Okay. Build time will be adjusted for time accordingly. Medics automatically available. No reinforcements when deployed out of the base sector unless upgraded. Okay. And the forward reinforcement upgrade added 100 manpower and 10 fuel. Okay. Sure, we'll see. So they're just changing. All right, so they're, how do I put this? So you, maybe I'm reading this wrong. So now it won't bring stuff up without this upgrade. Okay, but you can put it, but this helps people who just want a medical facility in their base. So, okay, we'll see how this goes. That's fine, just switching things out, we'll see. Because again, I know a lot of people just put it in their base and just need it for heals, that's all. So that makes it cheaper for them. Volks Grenadier, as with flamethrowers, the Volks Grenadier flame grenade is being altered. Wait, you're putting it in your base, would that count as a building? So, okay, just hear me out. So if you make it, wait, fuel costs from 25 to 30, but you are essentially, again, just random thought. You're essentially making it so that way it is, you put it in your base and it's slightly less. So yeah, they're paying less on fuel, but they're not doing the other ability. So my immediate thought process is just put it in your base and then get mechanized or get something else. And you could theoretically lose a little less fuel by that, and you can deploy a Lux or a Puma a little bit quicker. I know it's not that much fuel in the grand scheme of things, but every little bit helps, so we'll see. Volksgrenadier. As with flamethrowers, Volksgrenadier flame grenades being altered to make it easier to set buildings alight. Flame damage bonus is increased and now takes 4 grenades to ignite structure. Okay, so 4 grenades into a building and the structure goes. I feel like they're going to change that. Because it takes, what, 15 flame hits now instead of 30? 4 grenades doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Stern Pioneers are adjusted to make Stern Pioneers allow their PyroSharks to be a functional upgrade and diversify OKW builds. So their high cost and all fall off in the AI role. Mid-game makes it impractical for multiple Stern Pioneers to be fielded in higher level games. Population has also been reduced to help again that issue. Population decreased by 1. PyroShark again fixed because I don't know why it costs 70. It's weird. It's especially with the other one costs 120, 60. Concussion grenade cost reduced at 20 at Variant C4. That's nice, making it more viable to use that consistently. And yeah, you can get PyroShark and a Minesweeper. That works. But once again, you're opening up the door to where, okay, he is a PyroShark. Why can't I get a flamethrower and a Minesweeper? Unless it's something totally independent. So something to keep in mind. They open the door for this. That could see other things open. The Flak Half Track is having its build time decreased. Alright. So, alright. Okay. Sure. We'll see. I'm curious. I'm curious, that's all. We'll see. Anyway, the IRR half-track adjustments made. Again, they need to do something. To allow better spot camouflage units, giving its role a spotting role. I have not used that damn thing because of what they've done to it. I don't see a point of having a unit just shoot a light out farther. I mean, yes, it can be good in the grand scheme of things in terms of like spotting stuff, but in a lot of areas I fight, it's like close quarters, so you don't have a straight shot of light except for like bigger open maps. And then of course if it's standing there in the wide open and needs to set up, then yeah. So it gets a passive camouflage detection increase, and detection ability improves camouflage spotting as well. So that's good. All right, we'll see. Again, our half track's been this poor. It's been nerfed quite a bit, but again, it was bugged, so it makes sense. So we'll see how effective that is. Hopefully, it makes it more viable and more people use it, because I have rarely seen one. Even in competitive games, I think it's gone extinct. Panzer II Lux. The suppressive ability is being improved to allow its Quaxel to deal suppression, as well as main gun. This will allow the Lux to pin his infantry in several seconds of sustained fire. Good. So just making suppression more active at about 5 when that happens. The Puma is having its sight decreased and then increased about 2, kind of like the other units, kind of in a similar vein, like the armored car? The Panzer Headquarters. The following features will allow the OKW doctrinal vehicles to arrive sooner, giving the player more options over the standard OKW Panzer IV, which is previously competed with. Yeah, it's quite a bit. Earlier upgraded Obsidian should also make more of an impact. Wait, what? Earlier upgraded Obsidian should also make more of an impact in the infantry battles in mid-game. So you're increasing the fuel cost of it, but the Panzer authorization fuel cost has been decreased. I'm curious why that would change things, because you're making it so that way to build it. The following changes will allow the OKW doctrinal vehicles to arrive sooner, giving the player more options over the standard OKW Panzer IV, which they previously competed with. But how does that make sense? Because again, this is just me. If you have the same amount of fuel income, and then you buy it, is it because you're putting everything into it, and people just couldn't wait? This one's weird. I don't see how it would have an effect. I truly don't. Because I'm trying to think what it would do. You're just delaying... What is this? Which... Earlier upgrade Obsidian should also make more of an impact in infantry battles in the mid-game. What? What? Panzer authorization fuel cost from 60 to 30, but it's still 190. So, again, my immediate thought process is you're essentially making it so that way the Schwer Panzer Headquarters is a bigger target when it's set up and defenseless. That is what I'm seeing right now. It's like, oh, he's building a Panzer Headquarters. Well, shoot at it because he's going to lose more fuel. That's my thought process. All right, anyway. Sudan, MG34 and SG4 upgrade no longer requires Panzer authorization. Ocwieja no longer requires Panzer authorization, and as well as the Hetzer. Okay, so essentially the Ocwieja and the Hetzer will be deployed sooner. That's a change, but those units are with specials, and it's only 30 fuel. So it's 30 fuel to upgrade, so it's a minute. So in a minute, do you want an Ocwieja or do you want a Panzer IV? Roughly, that's essentially what they're saying. Okay. Again, I don't see it being a bigger impact. I see it being more of a negative. In my head, you're just making it so the Schwer Panzer Headquarters. I mean, yeah, sure, Sudan, great. But it's not going to be that big of a deal. Especially because the main gun is not operational. If the Panzer Headquarters is not operational because of the Panzer authorization is not active, you're not going to have it flak and you're not going to have it shoot AA. So it's going to be a big target for enemy fire, which I guess would force them back to more reasonable positions. But they can't defend themselves. So if a player pushes and quickly neutralizes it, that could be it for a player, and that's 90 fuel instead of 60. Just going out there. Anyway, so we got the walking Stuka, which again has been changed. Wait, I'm sorry. Adjustment made for the Stuka to improve its consistency against armored vehicles. I'm sorry, what, mate? Furthermore, the napalm strike has been reworked to arrive earlier, hit more accurately, be less powerful, cheaper, and cause suppression. I don't mind that. But what? The change will make rockets effective against clustered weapon teams with the creeping barrage cannot hit as a weapon to suppress mass infantry. So you're increasing the penetration of the walking Stuka. Are you insane? Okay, maybe it's just because I'm at this for like almost an hour and going over this when I thought it would be a 20-minute thing and I'll be like, I'm done. And I'm like, no, my God. Okay, so just my thought process on this, just real quick. On the napalm strike, good, because to be fair, veteran C1 recharge moved to veteran C4. They moved down. Napalm strike is now at 1. Okay, so you're gonna see more napalm strikes. That's good, and the recharge is slightly decreased as well. But we'll see how the napalm strike does. Essentially, what I can see in this is because it's out sooner, enemy fortifications such as the mortar pit would have a counter to them, so that's positive. Or other stationary defenses if used, if it's cheaper consistently. That's immediately in my head. The thing that, AoE penetration from 200, 180, 162 to 40, 40, 40. I'm curious on that. I'm really, really curious on that. Because maybe this is just me. When it would blast Su-85s, it would knock out half their health. So, is this just going to guarantee they're just going to hit them? Or, because it seems like it's decreasing it. But it's increasing. So if it's a direct hit, it will penetrate the enemy. Or, I'm curious. Okay, so maybe I'm reading this wrong. But from my eyes, what they're doing is making the bomb able to pen armor and do the damage. And if it does the damage, I've seen it hurt Jacksons and bring that stuff down. I've seen it kill Su-85s and destroy Su-76s. So I'm curious the effectiveness on that. That's something I will absolutely need to change. Because if you are making a walking Stuka, and again, it looks like they're making it worse, but I have a creeping suspicion of making it better against armor. That's interesting. That's interesting. Anyway, Jaeger infantry as well. Variancy 5 accuracy modifiers have been removed. Okay, makes sense. It's been a bit overdone. Let's see. All right, so now we got bug fixes where they're just fixing a bunch of stuff. Is there anything on here of note? Because again, you kind of go through and look at this. Because again, it's a bug. It just happens. Terraform the ground. Fix the issue there for 2 would wait. Like again, you kind of go through. They're just bug fixes. It's just like small stuff. Yeah, because like again, I've never had a story. Like usually it's just waiting. It's again because if it's a bug, great. All right, so all right. Now let's see what they've updated. So this is version 2.0. So I'll put that down. So we're back into version 2.0 with them changing stuff. Okay. So much stuff to go through, my lord. All right. The OKW-221 can now force a reload. The Panthers, with the increase in base accuracy, we feel the Panther does not require an additional boost to accuracy when firing from a stationary position. It applies to both the Osteer and OKW variants. So they just increased it to decrease it. Okay. They're like, maybe the accuracy boost was a bit too much. I was like, all right, sure. Panther gets increased, immediately destroyed. Grenade versus mines. A miner change will allow infantry grenades to reliably destroy landmines. Okay, that's good. I'll agree with that. Hey, all right, so now we're doing with the British. Wait, no. American. No, wait, no. We're doing with the USF, but it's AEF. Wait, am I? Okay, I'm losing my mind here. I'm sorry. American. Anyway, Expeditionary Force. Anyway, the USF are the only. It's been an hour in, guys. I'm tired. The USF are the only faction that can reliably break a population of 100 thanks to their ability to decrew vehicles. Yeah, no shit. To discourage players from going over the population and continuing to build vehicles, we're introducing a penalty. When a player breaks 110 population, they will take a manpower penalty. Okay, how much is that? They would penalize minus 100 manpower until they go below. Okay. I mean, that's nice. You're not going to see a huge boom in armor, so not bad. Not okay. We'll see what they do. I think that's fine. I think that's a nice way to decrease it so that way you don't have a consistency of people spamming armor. But that isn't a component to the Americans. I'll give them that. The bar rate has been... Oh, right. They increased the drop rate. There we go. Riflemen, if Variancy 1 is being adjusted, their abilities would recharge too quickly in an early game, allowing them to get multiple AT or frag grenades off a quick succession. Alrighty, so yeah, they realized that was a mistake, 50%, now it's 25%, and 33% on Variancy 3. Lieutenant, the change puts Lieutenant smoke ability in line with other units that have non-lethal smoke fragmentation bombs. Alright, so yeah, shared cooldown, okay. The M8 Scott is receiving further improvements. Its barrage capabilities. The change will allow it to maintain pressure on team weapons. Alright, so they fixed its shell count and scatter. And the smoke no longer shares a cooldown with the main barrage. So armor, they set... Wait, no. No. Some armor they separated. Some support weapons they separated. But infantry have the same grenade and smoke grenade. Sure. Vehicle crews. Due to the high reinforcement cost of vehicle crews who lack any combat potential outside lead vehicle crews, we are slightly lowering the reinforcement cost. Okay, good. Not much really to say there. While vehicle crews are part of the USF identity, it makes early game units difficult to balance due to the ability to self-repair. The USCF is losing its vehicle crew to increase its downtime while taking damage. Okay. They're like, oh shoot, the WC is still being effective. Remove the base American trait off it. Crew models will now use USF models to give a visual indicator of the change. Wait. Crew models will now use rifleman models. So they're still going to have a vehicle crew. They're just going to be American models? Is that what I'm saying? That can no longer decrewed or recrewed. Vehicle crew removed. And crew models will now use a rifleman model. I'm assuming what they mean is the infantry that's using the vehicle, right? I'm assuming. Okay. For a second there, I'm like, are riflemen gonna deploy it for this thing? All right. Given the new high manpower cost of Soviet tech structure, which does not grant new abilities or units like other factions, the cost of mechs is being reduced. All right, 250 to 200. Nice. Soviet mortar insists 3 crews. Experience values from 30 to 40. All right, so you need more experience for them. Mobility reserves. Yeah, this thing has not been touched at all. So let's see what they do. Is being changed to give Soviet players an option to improve because most people would skip it. The FG at mid-game without having to pay a high resource cost or waiting. Further, penals will now be affected by the tech to reduce their manpower bleeding late game. Oh, hello there. Mobility reserve upgrade now reduces penal reinforcement by 2. That's actually kind of important. Upgrade is auto-applied if mechanized is tier 4 purchase. No longer requires conscript Molotov and AT grenade upgrades. This is the best. I am so happy. I love my penals and they're getting buffs left and right. I cannot wait. Because as a person who loves penals, oh my god, that's great. Alright, they're making the PTRS more responsive, making it more difficult to dodge the opening volley in line with other infantry AT weapons. There's a space right there. Okay. Further, AT rifles can now use attack ground and will have a projectile to soft counter abilities such as smoke. We will be monitoring whether this makes PTRS too effective against cover. Can attack ground and has a projectile. I don't think it would, but again, I'm biased, so we'll move on. Penals. The PTRS upgrade for penals is being improved to give it a squad an additional rifle. Wait, what? Do they have 2 rifles in both hands now? The current upgrade lacks power against anything but the light vehicle phase. Yeah, not wrong. Which means the AT penal squad poorly in late game, posing minimal threat to tanks unless they could be satcheled. Which is the point, at least in my opinion. The accuracy of the PTRS can be increased to match their previous DPS when carrying 2 rifles. Alright, so PTRS upgrade now grants the additional PTRS, which does not drop. The cost is increased because there's one that can't drop. And the accuracy has been increased as well. Okay, so count 1 point, I will mention. This would make them less effective against infantry. Unless I'm mistaken. Less effective against infantry. So there's that. So while they are getting, again, easier and cheaper, they are being less effective against other infantry if you do the upgrade. So that does actually pose a challenge for players. But they are increasing its accuracy, so I'm curious how the AT guns do against infantry in general. So that will be curious. The S-76 is having its portion of veterancy rotation available stock combined with the acceleration improvements at veterancy 2. The extra mobility will help You're increasing its mobility? Oh my god. Veterancy requirements have been increased. Camouflage delay has been decreased. Rotation increased. For veterancy 2 rides, increased acceleration, deceleration, veterancy 3. My god. Come on, Greyshot. Get through. Rotation bonus from 1.25 to 1.75. My lord. Okay. So these are going to be sneaky bastards. They're gonna hide and immediately bolt out of there at incredible speed. Yeah, I don't know if they're intentionally making the SU-76 like a hit and run unit, but that's what it seems like it's doing. We're trailing a change. We're trialing a change to T-34's RAM ability. As the T-36 now needs veterancy to have access to RAM, the unit now needs a chance to escape once the initial stun of RAM wears off, similar to a vehicle that has been stuck. Immobilized critical replaced with a temporary stun of 6 seconds and engine damage critical. Wait, the unit now, wait. To escape once the initial stun of RAM wears off, similar. Alright, so it will stun, and then engine crit damage crit. Main gun critical still remains and requires veterancy 1. So you can get the T-34 out of there now? Like, it will actually pull out? Okay. Yeah, because I think they realized, oh shoot, we're sending veteran T-34s, but we're probably not going to ram it now unless they're absolutely necessary. Because again, they're spending time to work it up. That's the point of ramming, is the fact you just send a cheap T-34 in. But anyway, the following tree is big concrete piercing ground to reduce its lethality against infantry. Oh god, they didn't check the elite. Oh my god. Oh yeah, that's funny. When grouped in cover due to the recent bug fix for the ability. I feel bad for the poor. This is why I don't check this stuff, because I feel bad for the poor suckers. Like, let me check. Let me use the concentrate piercing AoE. Oh my god, it kills infantry? Alright, this sounds like a great idea. Alrighty, infantry medical kits for the Osteer have been decreased in general. Bunkers. Command bunkers no longer mutually exclusive for the medical bunker. So you're not going to have bunkers and bunkers. You're just going to have one bunker. Okay. The Stug G must cycle a reload before it can fire its special ability and fairly weak blind, which increases ability damage. Target weak point damage from 80 to 1. Oh, okay. That's not okay. That's good. Never mind. It's no longer weak. It stuns it, but you're definitely more viable. Brumbar, with the additional immediate cost, bunker plus barrage no longer needs to be restricted by such a long recharge time. So it's decreased by 30 seconds. That's actually pretty substantial. With the rockets arriving sooner thanks to a low angle barrage, the Panzerwerfer is having its suppression removed on the low angle shot. Yeah, how quickly do you think it's gonna arrive? Anyway, Ostrupen. Additional changes are being made to Ostrupen, with 2 routes being taken. The first change is to deny aggressive Ostrupen builds by delaying the MG42, which supports them. How would you delay it? This comes in the form of requiring Ostrupen to be recruited from the HQ. Okay. The second change is a slight manpower increase to make Ostrupen less cost efficient on top of the existing call-in change. They're really trying to nerd. They're like, WC and Ostrupen, you're going down. You're used too much. To test both of these methods in one build, Ostrupen Commander and the Defensive Commander have different methods in how the Ostrupen are called in. Furthermore, yeah, by the way, the mobile defense, can we bring that up with 400 manpower BS? And it's like, oh, it's 440 and it costs more, but it's okay. Furthermore, their Panzerfaust range is being reduced to 15 to match the range of other snares. They had a higher... Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. Grenade, because they only have snare. Grenadiers have a further range due to the lower squad size. Okay. Anyway, experimental Ostrupens are built from HQ rather than call-in, so it increases build time by 25 seconds. Manpower is fine, but the community defensive doctrine Ostrupen are called off-map with 35-second recharge and a little more manpower. Okay, so I'm assuming they're going to do a thing where it's like, okay, which one's more viable, and then go with that. So that's one of the 2 they could do. Again, still in testing. Battle group headquarters. I can't wait to see what they fix from this. I've only literally had it for 15 minutes at this point of me having it in my brain, and immediately I'm like, this is a no-go. Given the cost efficiency of the new KW medics, we want... Alright, hold on. We want to try one iteration that makes it less difficult to backtech to and give OKW more options without needing to pay a large amount of resources for basic indirect fire. 150 manpower and 10 fuel offers the LEG upon completion, which now comes from off-map. Wait, what? So, wait, the 150 manpower and 10 fuel offers an LEG upon completion, which now comes off-map. Medic upgrade costs 50 manpower, so you automatically get one. Wait, I'm sorry. Battle group upgrade, 100 manpower, 20 fuel, unlocks the 251 track and searchlight. And the half-track infantry weapon upgrades and the ability to reinforce 15-second research times. An iteration that makes medics less difficult to backtech to give the OKW more options without needing to pay a large amount of resources for basic. I would need to see that in action. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. All right, some of these things I may mark down and go test. That's one of them. The Stuka's another. Anyway, Stern Pioneers can now rebuy their PyroShark when dropped. We may have forgot something. The LEG. So the following change will make them more responsive when firing at smoke barrages. Okay, I'm just gonna move on from that. Panzer II. Following the change will make camouflage Lukes harder to detect. It is too easy to deny the Luke scouting role due to the large revealed detection range. Yeah, now it's detected by enemy units in 15 meters rather than 20 when cautious movement is active. Okay. The Stuka. When addition to the proper penetration values, Suzuka rockets become far too potent against emplacements and light vehicles. I could have told you that. Have you seen games where they just wipe S-25s in a row? Or at least bring them down to half health. Nearly able to destroy them in one barrage. Yeah, no shit. We are reducing the damage it does against vehicles and emplacements. I mean, go figure. Plus 50% damage against emplacements removed. Damage from 300 to 200 against these targets. Now is a 25% damage against vehicles, so the penetration's still there. Damage from 200 to 160 against these targets. Napalm suppression has also been decreased. Yeah, I could have told you that, but you know, it's in most 1v1 games they target support, so very rarely it's like, yes, let's hit the vehicles. I'm assuming team games like hit the vehicles with the artillery, and it's like, oh, that actually does quite a bit. Same thing with the Katusha. Anyway, Panzer Asif G. So the Panther G version. The OKW is being standardized with its Osteer counterpart, receiving a nerf to its escalation bonus in exchange for lower veterancy requirements. Okay. So experience has been decreased, but veterancy deceleration has been decreased. Now we're on the Brits. British HQ structures. To make it easier to utilize other healing options, infantry will now retreat directly towards the HQ rather than the platoon or company command post. Infantry will now rally towards the HQ truck rather than other base structures. Okay, because I think I know what they're going with. It's kind of like hard to place where the infantry would be, so I guess they're trying to standardize it. Infantry section. With the loss of the capture bonus, we want to give the UKF an ability to quickly retake territory through a unit upgrade. The leash scoped Enfield is there to improve its long-range effectiveness of the squad at the cost of short-range and moving firepower, while also preventing the squad from doubling up on weapon upgrades. So they give a raid package, which increases scope, increases capture, and speed boost when non-combat. Not in combat is the big deal. So if you're trying to think about the, taking a point under fire, don't. Removes the penalties for fighting out of cover, but increases construction time by 75% and 40 munitions. All right, we'll see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the mortar emplacement range decrease. So I was, the British are, I know they're moving things around, but I'm seeing a lot of really good things for the Brits right now. I'm seeing a lot of positive things for the Brits. Many positives, I should say. All right, the heavy mortar barrage having its range reduced to make the barrage less powerful on smaller maps. Yeah, go figure on that one. 180, I'm like, that seems long. It is. The Churchill having its rear armor reduced to make it more vulnerable when flanked by medium armor. Wait. All right, so rear armor has been decreased. Vet 1 now gets a Vickers K Pintle weapon, follows the rotation of the turret. Okay. Sure, it's make the Churchill even deadlier against infantry. Why not? 70 pounder. World-piercing rounds are being reduced at a cost of Airmaster performance. That's nice. That's really going to help. So, again, it can fire through obstacles, anything, and hit targets so long as it can natively fire, or like a destroyed building, such like the Pak-43. All right, so more bug fixes, lots of bug fixes, kind of go through that, but a lot of them are just apparent, like someone would have this issue. It's like, okay, well, great. I typically wouldn't fix an issue where a player could call on multiple Valentines. That's funny. But it's like native, most of the time you're not going to see those. So that's why I just don't really care. But anyway, that's everything. That's all of the balances so far. And yeah, I should have done this quicker so I could literally give my reaction. The walking Stuka, my god, and some other things. Well, we'll see. That's where it is. And I like some things off that initial patch notes. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? You sure you want to do this? And I was right on some of them. The mortar emplacement, the infantry, not the infantry section, what I'm saying. The walking Stuka, The only thing that and look, Penal's being upgraded. I will not complain. But the biggest thing I currently see is like scratching my head, because it just doesn't, it's okay, not doesn't make sense. It just, for what they're going for, I don't think it adds up, is the Swear Panzer headquarters. I don't know. And that's the weird part about it. I don't know. In my head, it's screaming that the OKW is nerfed, even though they're saying, no, it doesn't, it's not, but I feel like it is. I have a strong suspicion that this is going to make it, but we'll see. The site bonuses and stuff like that they're doing with a lot of the vehicles sounds good. And again, some basic fundamental features like the Stern Pioneer being upgraded, and like, again, the survivability of some units, great. But again, I feel like the OKW got short shafted in this, even though I feel like this patch was meant to decrease the Osteer and the USF in the early game. But hey, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. In any case, guys, that's going to be it. Leave your comments down below, because I've been talking for like almost an hour and a half on these patch notes. My God. But leave your comments down below. We'll see how things go, and we'll see how it changes, and hopefully the patch comes out soon. But otherwise, this has been Greyshot17, and I'll see all of you next time. Hello everyone, this is Greyshot. If you want to check out previous content, video links will be above, including my Patreon link, which again many people support, including Aphyria, Milam, Joey G240, Samuel McKinney, Seth Kuipers, Anton, Bishara, PyroShark, Ace, Fall of Man, Jakub, Ocwieja, to round it out. Thank you guys so much for your incredible support. If you want to be a patron, you can join. Otherwise, thank you to my current patrons. You guys rock and help me do what I do best. Anyway, this has been Greyshot17, and I'll see all of you next time.